Maya had always loved old cars. She liked the way they looked, the way they felt, and the stories they seemed to carry. Every weekend, she would take a long walk through her small town, stopping at garage sales, flea markets, and car auctions. Some people collected stamps or coins, but Maya collected memories through cars. Each old vehicle was like a piece of history, a treasure waiting to be restored. One bright Saturday morning, she was scrolling through a local online marketplace when something caught her eye. The words on the screen made her heart beat faster. 1969 Corvette for sale. Needs work. Very cheap. First come, first served. She leaned closer, her eyes scanning every detail in the listing. The pictures showed a car that had been loved once but had clearly been neglected over the years. The blue paint was dull, and the chrome trim had lost its shine. The leather seats were cracked, and the tires were old and worn. Yet, despite all this, Maya could see the beauty hidden beneath the dirt and rust. Without thinking twice, she grabbed her keys and jumped into her small sedan. The drive to the address was longer than she expected. She passed through quiet streets lined with old houses and trees that swayed gently in the morning breeze. There was a sense of calm and stillness in the neighborhood, and Maya felt a strange excitement building inside her. She was about to see the car in person, to touch it and hear its engine roar. When she arrived at the house, it looked ordinary from the outside. The garden was overgrown, and paint was peeling from the wooden door. Maya parked and walked toward the garage, her heart pounding. Inside, the garage was dusty and filled with boxes and old tools. And there it was, the Corvette, sitting like a sleeping giant, waiting for someone to wake it up. Maya's eyes wandered over the car. She noticed the faded blue paint, the curves of the body, and the shape of the headlights. Even in its worn condition, the car looked proud and strong. She knelt down to inspect the tires and wheels. The leather seats looked fragile, but she could imagine them soft and comfortable again after some care. The engine was covered in a thin layer of dust, but Maya could hear that it had potential. The elderly man who had placed the ad stepped forward. He was small, with white hair and a kind smile. "Hello," he said. "I see you like the car." His voice was soft but steady. Maya nodded, her excitement barely contained. "It's a beautiful car, isn't it?" the man continued. "It belonged to my father. He bought it new in 1969. He loved it, but he couldn't drive it much after a few years. I've kept it safe, but I don't have the time to restore it. I want someone who can give it the care it deserves." Maya listened carefully, feeling a connection to the car already. "I will take care of it," she said sincerely. "I love old cars. I will make it look and run like new again." The man nodded. "I believe you," he said. "I hope it finds the love it once had." Maya checked the engine with the man's help. They turned the key, and the engine roared to life after a few tries. The sound was rough, but it was full of promise. The car coughed and rattled, but to Maya, it sounded like a voice calling out for attention. She knew that with time, care, and patience, she could bring it back to its former glory. After negotiating the price, which was surprisingly low, Maya signed the papers. The car was now hers. She could hardly contain her excitement as she drove it out of the garage and onto the street. The Corvette felt strange beneath her hands at first. The steering was heavier than she was used to, and the brakes needed adjusting. Yet, every turn, every shift of the gears, made her heart race. She imagined the car as it had been in 1969, shiny and new, turning heads wherever it went. On the drive home, Maya's mind was full of ideas. She thought about the cleaning, the polishing, the engine work, and the new tires she would buy. She could almost see the car transformed, the blue paint shining under the sun, the leather seats soft and inviting, and the engine running smoothly. She imagined herself taking it to car shows and small exhibitions. People would stop and stare, just as she had always admired old cars. Yet, even as she dreamed of the future, Maya could not stop thinking about the past. Who had driven this car? What stories had it witnessed? Was it involved in any adventures, or had it simply been a quiet companion to its owners? She wanted to know everything about it, to discover the life it had lived before she became its caretaker. By the time she reached her small garage at home, Maya felt both tired and exhilarated. She carefully parked the Corvette inside, turned off the engine, and stepped back to admire it. The car seemed to shimmer faintly under the garage lights, even with its faded paint and small scratches. Maya ran her hands gently over the body, promising herself that she would restore it fully. She would give it back its glory, and in return, it would give her joy and pride. That evening, Maya made a plan. She would start with cleaning the car, polishing the body, and replacing the tires. Then she would work on the engine, making sure it ran smoothly. She would take pictures before and after each step, documenting the transformation. Most importantly, she would try to learn as much as she could about the car's history. Little did Maya know, the car held a secret. A secret that would soon appear in a way she could never imagine. The moment she brought the Corvette home was only the beginning of a journey that would uncover mysteries, surprises, and truths from the past. The elderly man had mentioned that it belonged to his father, but there was more to the story. The original owner had returned with something important, something shocking that would change Maya's plans and her understanding of the car forever. For now, Maya stood in her garage, staring at the Corvette with a mixture of awe and determination. She whispered to herself that she would do everything to restore it. She would clean every inch, fix every problem, and care for it as if it were part of her family. She could feel that the car was special, not only because it was a 1969 Corvette, but because it was waiting for her in that dusty garage, waiting for her to discover its true story. And so, with excitement and curiosity, Maya prepared herself for the adventure that was about to begin. The Corvette had found a new owner, but it still had one last secret to reveal. The next morning, Maya woke up early. The sunlight streamed through her window, and the thought of the Corvette waiting in her garage made her smile. She quickly had breakfast, grabbed her cleaning supplies, and headed to the garage. Today, she would start the first step of restoration, cleaning the car. The Corvette was covered in dust and dirt, and the tires had mud on them from the driveway. Maya started with the exterior. She sprayed water over the body, feeling the grime slide off the surface. She scrubbed gently with a soft brush, careful not to scratch the faded paint. As she cleaned, she imagined what the car had looked like 50 years ago. She pictured it shiny and new, with the blue paint reflecting the sun and the chrome shining brightly. Maya moved inside the garage, where the leather seats and dashboard needed attention. She wiped the seats with special leather cleaner, softening the cracks and removing years of dirt. The smell of old leather filled the garage, bringing a sense of history with it. She cleaned the dashboard, steering wheel, and all the small details that made the Corvette unique. She noticed the small imperfections, tiny scratches on the metal, a few stains on the leather, and one side mirror that was slightly loose. But to Maya, these were not problems, they were parts of the car's story. After hours of cleaning, Maya stepped back to look at the Corvette. Even without polishing or repairs, it already looked better. The faded blue paint had started to shine a little, and the chrome glimmered faintly in the sunlight. Maya felt proud. She could see the potential hidden beneath the years of neglect. Next, she turned her attention to the engine. She had some knowledge about car mechanics, but she wanted to be careful. The engine was dusty, and some parts were rusty. She cleaned the visible parts, checking for any leaks or broken pieces. She replaced old hoses and tightened bolts, making sure everything was secure. The engine looked tired, but it was strong. Maya could tell it was capable of running perfectly once it received proper care. While working, Maya discovered something unexpected. Under a small panel near the engine, she found a folded piece of paper. Curious, she carefully opened it. The paper was yellowed with age, and the handwriting was small and neat. It seemed to be a note from the original owner, the elderly man's father. It said, "To whoever owns this car next, treat it well. It has been my companion through many years. There is more to its story than you see. If you are patient and careful, it will reveal itself to you." Maya's heart raced. She had expected the car to be beautiful, but she had not expected a message from the past. The words made her feel connected to the person who had cared for the car long before she was born. It also made her wonder what more to its story meant. Was there a hidden secret? Something valuable or important? She could not wait to find out. Over the next few days, Maya focused on small repairs. She replaced the tires, polished the chrome, and touched up the faded paint. She worked patiently, making sure every detail was perfect. Each time she finished a task, she took a step back and admired her progress. The Corvette was slowly transforming. It was no longer just an old car in a dusty garage. It was becoming alive again, shining with the care and love Maya gave it. While cleaning, Maya also looked through the glove compartment and trunk. She found old receipts, car manuals, and photographs from the late 1960s and 1970s. The photographs showed the car with different owners over the years. One photo showed a young man, smiling proudly as he posed beside the Corvette. Another showed the car in front of a house with balloons and decorations, suggesting it had been part of celebrations. Each discovery made Maya more curious about the life the car had lived. One afternoon, while polishing the tires, Maya noticed a small scratch on the side of the car. It was too deep to fix with paint alone. She traced the scratch carefully and realized it looked like letters had been carved there long ago. Cleaning it carefully, she could make out part of a word. It seemed like a name, but she could not read the whole thing yet. Maya felt a thrill of anticipation. Every mark on the car felt like a clue, as if the Corvette itself was trying to tell her something. Maya also started to drive the car around her neighborhood, carefully at first. She listened to the engine and felt the brakes, learning the quirks and personality of the Corvette. Each ride was an experience. The car responded to her hands and feet, as if it recognized her care. She felt a bond forming with the vehicle. It was not just a project, it was a companion, a friend that had waited for the right person to restore it. While restoring the car, Maya often thought about the note she had found. Who was it meant for? Had anyone else ignored it before? She felt lucky that she had discovered it so early. She also began keeping a journal of her restoration process. She wrote down everything she did, every small change, and every discovery. She wanted to remember the journey, not just the final result. One evening, as she was cleaning the headlights, the doorbell rang. Maya wiped her hands on a cloth and went to the door. Outside stood a man she had never seen before. He looked serious but calm. He held a small envelope in his hand. "Hello," he said. "My name is Thomas. I believe this belongs to you." He handed Maya the envelope. She opened it carefully and found old documents about the Corvette, its original registration, insurance papers, and a letter from the car's first owner. The letter was long and detailed. It explained how the Corvette had been involved in important moments in his life, how it had been loved and cared for, and hinted at a secret kept inside the car, something he had never told anyone. Maya read the letter slowly, her excitement growing. The Corvette was more than just a car. It had a history, a story of love, care, and mystery. The original owner had trusted Maya, even without knowing her, to continue the story. She felt proud and nervous at the same time. There was a secret hidden somewhere in the car, and she was determined to find it. That night, Maya could not sleep. She kept thinking about the Corvette, the note, and the letter. She imagined opening the secret compartment and discovering what the original owner had hidden. She felt as if the car was alive, waiting for her to solve its mystery. She made a plan for the next day. She would carefully examine every part of the car, inside and out, looking for anything unusual. Maya went to bed feeling a mix of excitement and determination. She knew that restoring the car was not just about cleaning and polishing. It was about uncovering the truth, about discovering the life the Corvette had lived, and about continuing its story. She also knew that the next steps might bring surprises, maybe even something shocking. She could not wait to continue the adventure. The Corvette sat in the garage, quiet and still, under the soft light of the evening. It seemed to glow faintly, as if it understood that Maya was the person who would finally uncover its secrets. The car had waited a long time for her, and the real journey was only beginning. The next morning, Maya woke up early again. She could not stop thinking about the letter and the note she had found inside the Corvette. Both hinted at a secret hidden somewhere in the car. She felt a mix of excitement and curiosity. Today, she decided, she would search every part of the car to find it. Maya started in the garage. She opened the hood carefully, inspecting the engine and all its compartments. She checked under every panel, every bolt, and every hose. She tapped lightly on the metal parts, listening for unusual sounds. At first, everything seemed normal. The engine and all the components were old but solid. Yet Maya felt certain that the Corvette was trying to tell her something. Next, she moved to the interior of the car. She opened the glove compartment, which she had already cleaned before. She looked inside carefully, running her fingers over the small creases and edges. She tapped gently on the bottom, and her fingers brushed something hard and uneven. She reached inside and pulled out a small metal key. It was old and slightly rusty, but it looked important. Maya examined it, wondering what it could unlock. She knew instinctively that this key was connected to the secret the letter had mentioned. Excited, Maya searched the car for any unusual locks or compartments. She carefully removed panels under the dashboard and behind the seats. Every small space was inspected. Finally, near the back of the driver's seat, she noticed a small latch that looked out of place. The latch was hidden under a piece of trim. She inserted the key, turned it slowly, and a hidden compartment popped open. Her heart raced as she opened it fully. Inside the compartment, she found several items wrapped carefully in cloth. She unwrapped them one by one. The first item was an old journal. The leather cover was cracked, but the pages inside were in good condition. Maya opened it and began to read. The journal belonged to the original owner, the man whose father had owned the Corvette. The first pages were full of memories about the car, detailing trips, adventures, and even small repairs he had done over the years. Each entry revealed how much he loved the Corvette. As Maya read further, she noticed something unusual. There were mentions of meetings, secret deliveries, and letters that had been passed from person to person. It seemed the Corvette had been involved in something more than just driving around town. The journal hinted at a mystery, something valuable hidden away for safekeeping. Maya's curiosity grew stronger with each word she read. She carefully continued through the hidden compartment. Along with the journal, there were old photographs. One photograph showed the Corvette parked in front of a large house with a man holding a small box in his hands. Another photo showed a woman standing beside the car, smiling, with a folded letter in her hand. Maya could not read the letter in the photograph, but she could see the care and attention given to the items. The car had clearly been trusted to carry something important, and the original owner had left instructions to protect it. Maya spent hours examining every item. She realized that the Corvette was more than just a car. It was a vessel of memories and secrets. She carefully organized the items on a clean table in her garage, making notes about everything she found. Each item seemed connected, forming a trail that led back to the original owner and his family. Maya felt as if she were piecing together a puzzle that had waited for decades to be solved. While examining the compartment, Maya noticed another small panel at the back of the car. It was almost invisible, hidden under the rear seat. She pressed lightly and heard a faint click. The panel opened, revealing a tiny safe. Her hands trembled slightly as she looked at it. It was locked, but she still had the key from the other compartment. She inserted it carefully, and to her relief, the lock clicked open. Inside the safe, she found a collection of letters and documents. They were old but preserved well. Some were official papers, while others were personal letters. One letter was addressed to the original owner, explaining that an important family heirloom had been hidden in the car. Another letter explained the instructions for finding it. Maya realized that the Corvette had been used as a secret carrier for something valuable, something that had been carefully protected for decades. Her mind raced as she tried to imagine what the item could be. Was it money, jewelry, or something else entirely? The letters did not say exactly what it was, only that it was precious and needed to be kept safe until the right person arrived. Maya felt honored that she had been chosen. She had expected to restore a car, but she had discovered a living history, a mystery waiting to be uncovered. Over the next few days, Maya focused on understanding the documents and letters. She matched names and dates, trying to piece together the full story. It seemed that the original owner had hidden the item to protect it during a difficult time. He trusted that someone who loved the car would eventually find it. Maya felt a deep connection to the people who had cared for the Corvette before her. She realized that restoring the car was not just about beauty or performance. It was about respect for the past and responsibility for the future. While she worked, Maya also continued restoring the car. She polished the paint until it gleamed under the sunlight, replaced broken parts, and ensured the engine ran smoothly. Each step of restoration felt more meaningful now. She was not only giving the Corvette a second life, but she was also protecting its history. The car was becoming a bridge between the past and the present. One afternoon, as Maya finished cleaning the interior, she noticed a strange scratch on the dashboard that she had not seen before. It looked like letters or symbols etched lightly into the wood. She leaned closer, examining it carefully. It was a set of initials and a date, hidden in plain sight. The letters matched the signature in the journal, confirming that the original owner had marked the car to guide her. Maya felt a thrill of excitement. She was on the right path. As the sun set, Maya stood back and admired the Corvette. It looked beautiful, stronger and more alive than ever. The blue paint sparkled, the chrome shined, and the interior felt fresh and cared for. She knew she was close to discovering the final secret hidden inside. The car seemed to hum softly, as if it were alive, ready to reveal what it had protected for so long. Maya went to bed that night with a sense of purpose. She could not stop thinking about the hidden items, the letters, and the photographs. The Corvette had revealed part of its story, but she knew there was more to uncover. She felt a mixture of excitement and anticipation. Tomorrow, she would continue her search, following the clues left by the original owner. The Corvette rested quietly in the garage, its secrets partially revealed but still holding one final surprise. Maya had restored much of its beauty and discovered its hidden compartments, but she sensed that the most important discovery was still ahead. She felt ready, knowing that she had the knowledge, patience, and determination to uncover the truth completely. The next morning, Maya could hardly wait to get back to the garage. She had spent days restoring the Corvette and examining the hidden compartments, letters, and photographs. Each discovery had revealed pieces of a story, but she felt that the most important secret was still hidden. Today, she decided, she would uncover it. Maya started by reviewing the documents she had found in the small safe. She laid them on her work table, carefully reading each one. There were letters, receipts, and official papers, many of them decades old. One letter caught her attention. It was written in elegant handwriting and addressed to the original owner of the Corvette. The letter mentioned a gift, something very valuable that needed to be hidden until it could be passed on safely. The words were careful, deliberate, and full of meaning. The letter also included instructions. It explained that the gift was hidden inside the car, but it required patience and attention to detail to find it. The letter mentioned a special latch, hidden under the rear seats, that would reveal a secret compartment. Maya had already found one compartment, but she realized there must be another, smaller one that held the most important item. Her excitement grew. She could almost feel the gift waiting for her. Maya began examining the Corvette carefully. She checked every panel, tapping lightly with her fingers and listening to the sounds. The car had taught her to be patient, to notice even the smallest details. She remembered the initials and date etched into the dashboard and realized that the original owner had left subtle signs to guide her. She followed each clue carefully, checking areas she had overlooked before. Finally, after hours of searching, she noticed a small irregularity under the passenger seat. It was a tiny seam in the floor mat, almost invisible. She lifted it gently and found a small metal latch underneath. Her hands trembled slightly as she inserted the key from the first hidden compartment. The latch clicked, and a narrow panel slid open, revealing a small cavity. Inside, she found a beautifully wrapped package. The wrapping was delicate, and it looked very old. Maya carefully untied the string and opened the paper. Inside was a small wooden box. The box was polished and smooth, with intricate carvings on the surface. Maya lifted it gently, feeling the weight in her hands. She knew instantly that this was the hidden gift mentioned in the letters. With great care, Maya opened the box. Inside, she found a collection of rare items. There were several gold coins, each stamped with dates from the 1940s and 1950s. There was also a small medallion with a delicate chain, engraved with initials that matched those she had seen in the journal. Alongside the coins and medallion was a folded letter. Maya opened the letter and read it carefully. The letter explained the full story. The original owner had received the items from a family member many years ago. They were meant to be passed down to someone who could be trusted. The items were not just valuable in terms of money, but they held emotional and historical importance. The letter praised the person who would restore and care for the Corvette, acknowledging that the car itself had been a safeguard for the family's legacy. Maya felt a mix of awe and respect. She realized that the Corvette was more than just a car. It was a keeper of history, a protector of memories and treasures. The fact that she had discovered the hidden gift made her feel connected to the generations before her. She understood that the original owner had chosen her carefully, trusting that she would honor the car and its secrets. After reading the letter, Maya carefully replaced the items in the wooden box and closed it. She decided to keep the box in a secure place at home until she could learn more about the family and the proper way to honor the gift. The discovery had changed her perspective on the Corvette. It was no longer just a restoration project. It was a journey into the past, a chance to continue a story that had begun decades ago. Over the next few days, Maya focused on completing the final touches of the restoration. She polished the paint until it gleamed under the sunlight, ensuring that every curve of the Corvette reflected her care. She replaced worn parts, checked the brakes, and fine-tuned the engine until it ran smoothly. She cleaned the interior meticulously, making the leather seats look soft and inviting once again. During the process, she thought about the photographs and letters she had found. Each item told a story of love, care, and responsibility. She realized that restoring the car was not only about making it look beautiful, but also about honoring the people who had trusted it with their secrets. The Corvette had been a silent witness to decades of life, and now Maya was adding her own chapter to its story. One afternoon, as Maya was finishing the polishing, the doorbell rang. She wiped her hands and went to the door. Outside stood the elderly man from whom she had bought the car. He smiled warmly at her. "I heard you found something," he said quietly. "I wanted to see the car and meet the person who restored it." Maya invited him inside and carefully opened the garage door. The Corvette shone in the sunlight, looking magnificent. She showed him the car, pointing out the work she had done and the hidden compartments she had discovered. The man listened, nodding, his eyes shining with emotion. Finally, Maya showed him the wooden box with the coins, medallion, and letter. She explained how she had followed the clues and found the items. The man's eyes widened in surprise and gratitude. "You have done exactly what I hoped for," he said softly. "My father would have been proud. You not only restored the car, but you also honored its history and protected the family's legacy. Thank you for being patient and careful. You have given the Corvette a new life and kept its secrets safe." Maya felt a warm glow of pride. She realized that the journey had been more than she had imagined. It was not just about a car. It was about connection, trust, and respect for history. The Corvette had brought her into a story that spanned generations, and she had become a part of it. As the sun began to set, Maya stood in the garage, looking at the Corvette. It gleamed under the soft light, beautiful, powerful, and full of life. She knew that this was only the beginning of many adventures with the car. The hidden gift had been discovered, but the memories and stories would continue. The Corvette was no longer just a vehicle. It was a living history, a treasure trove of secrets, and a symbol of trust that had passed from one generation to another. Maya smiled. She had found the car, restored it, and uncovered its hidden truth. In doing so, she had learned the value of patience, care, and respect for the past. The Corvette had given her more than she had ever imagined. It had given her a story, a mystery, and a connection to a history that she would cherish forever. After discovering the hidden box and uncovering the Corvette's secret, Maya felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. The car was no longer just an old vehicle waiting to be restored. It was a living piece of history, a keeper of memories, and a symbol of trust. Every detail she had polished, every repair she had completed, and every clue she had followed had led to this moment. Now, her task was to complete the restoration and honor the legacy it carried. Maya spent the next few days carefully finishing the car. She worked on the engine until it purred smoothly, each gear shifting perfectly. She replaced small worn parts she had not noticed before and adjusted the brakes so the Corvette would drive safely. The leather seats were conditioned and polished until they looked soft and luxurious. She applied wax to the faded blue paint, giving it a shine that reflected the sunlight brilliantly. Every small detail mattered to her, not just for the car's appearance, but to show respect for its history. While working, Maya thought about the people who had cared for the Corvette before her. The elderly man, his father, and even those mentioned in the photographs and letters had all treated the car with love. She realized that her restoration was part of that chain of care, connecting her to a story that spanned decades. Every time she polished a surface or tightened a bolt, she imagined the hands of those who had done the same long ago. The connection gave her restoration a new meaning. Once the mechanical work was complete, Maya decided it was time to drive the Corvette properly. She carefully started the engine, and the car roared to life with a smooth, powerful sound. It felt alive beneath her hands, responsive to every movement, as if it were acknowledging her care. She drove slowly around the neighborhood, feeling the strength and elegance of the vehicle. Neighbors stopped to watch, impressed by the car's beauty and elegance. Maya smiled quietly to herself. She felt proud, not just for restoring the Corvette, but for uncovering its story and protecting its secret. Later that afternoon, Maya arranged a small meeting with the elderly man who had sold her the car. She wanted him to see the final result and to share in the satisfaction of the restoration. When he arrived, his eyes lit up at the sight of the Corvette. The blue paint shone brilliantly, the chrome sparkled, and the interior looked as if it had just rolled off the showroom floor. "You have done something amazing," he said, his voice full of emotion. "This car looks even better than it did 50 years ago. My father would have been proud to see how carefully you cared for it." Maya showed him the hidden compartments and the wooden box with the coins, medallion, and letters. The man smiled softly, touched by her respect for the car and its history. "You have not only restored the Corvette, but you have honored the story it carries. That is more important than any shine or polish. You have become part of the car's legacy." Over the next few weeks, Maya shared the Corvette with close friends and family. She carefully told the story of the hidden box, the letters, and the photographs. People were fascinated by the tale of the car's secret history and its connection to generations before her. Maya felt a sense of fulfillment. She had restored a car, but she had also restored the memories and respect that came with it. The Corvette was no longer just a beautiful vehicle. It was a living story that could inspire others to appreciate the past. One afternoon, while examining the car for final touches, Maya noticed a small reflection on the dashboard. It was the initials etched into the wood, left by the original owner decades ago. She smiled, realizing that the car itself had guided her all along. Each clue, each compartment, and each note had led her to the hidden gift and the true history of the Corvette. She felt grateful for the trust placed in her and proud that she had fulfilled her role. Maya decided to document everything. She wrote a detailed journal of the restoration, including every step, discovery, and clue. She photographed the car before, during, and after the restoration, capturing the hidden compartments and the final polished vehicle. She also included copies of the letters and photographs she had found. The journal would serve as a record, not only of her work but of the Corvette's story for future owners or enthusiasts who might want to know its history. As winter approached, Maya took the Corvette out for a longer drive. She drove along winding country roads, enjoying the powerful engine, the smooth handling, and the beauty of the restored car. She felt a sense of connection with the original owner and his family, imagining the trips they had taken and the memories they had created with this vehicle. Every turn of the wheel, every push of the pedal, reminded her that she was continuing a legacy. Maya also realized that the discovery of the hidden gift had changed her life. She had gone looking for an old car to restore, but she had found history, mystery, and a deep connection to generations before her. The experience had taught her patience, observation, and respect for the past. She understood that treasures were not always gold or silver, but could also be stories, memories, and trust. One evening, Maya parked the Corvette in her garage and stood back to admire it. The car gleamed under the warm light, each curve shining, each detail perfect. She knew that the Corvette had come a long way from the dusty garage where she had first seen it. It had been restored not just in appearance, but in spirit. The hidden gift had been uncovered, the story revealed, and the car had found a caretaker who respected its past. Maya felt a sense of closure and accomplishment. She knew that the Corvette's story would continue through her care, through her drives, and through the sharing of its history. She had uncovered the shocking truth, restored the car to its former glory, and preserved the legacy that had been entrusted to her. The Corvette was more than a car now. It was a symbol of trust, patience, and connection across generations. As she closed the garage door that evening, Maya whispered softly to herself. She promised that she would always care for the Corvette, honor its history, and protect its secrets. The car had given her a remarkable journey, and she was determined to continue it, sharing its story with anyone who wanted to listen. The Corvette had started as a dusty old car, but now it was a treasure, a story, and a living connection to the past. Maya knew that life would continue to bring new adventures, but the Corvette would always remain special. It had been waiting for her, and she had discovered its hidden truth. Together, they had created a new chapter, one that blended history, care, and love for something timeless. The car was complete, and so was Maya's journey of discovery. She smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning of many more adventures with her extraordinary Corvette.